7 hacks for teaching online. Hack number 7, finish strong. This is about retention. You know, a great athlete runs all the way to the end of the race. Many times when we're teaching online, we can get to the end of our lesson and kind of just fall over the finish line, feel like we're like, phew, I finally got that done. I finally got through it. As you teach more and more online, you're going to realize the importance of finishing strong. If you've been following these hacks, you'll have noticed that hack 1 was actually start strong. And it's no accident that I've chosen to put hack 7 as finish strong, because a strong finish determines a great start. And when you finish that lesson that you're teaching, when you finish strong, when you finish with a sense of accomplishment and a sense of purpose and a sense of job well done, you will take that feeling of strength and success and fulfillment, and that will go with you into the very next lesson that you teach, where you will go back to hack 1, which is start strong. Finishing strong is an important component for all of us when we're teaching. Whether we're having a meeting, whether we're taking a child, we're tutoring a student or mentoring a student, a group of students, wherever we find ourselves teaching, we must finish strong. We've actually got to ask ourselves, how are we going to bring this lesson to a conclusion? And how are we going to do it with a sense of strength and a sense of accomplishment? You know, sometimes we can peter out at the end of lessons. Sometimes the end of a lesson can just happen because it's the end of the lesson. And what I'm here to tell you today is that the bell is not the end of your lesson. The end of your lesson doesn't happen when the students complete the work. The end of the lesson happens when you decide that it's the end of the lesson. And because you've already done the previous hacks where we talked about the importance of preparation and the transitions between all the components of your lesson, you will have already prepared how you're going to end your lesson. Now, this is not something that takes hours and hours and hours. No, this just takes a moment of consideration where you ask yourself this question: how will I finish strong? How will I conclude this lesson in a place of strength, in a place of accomplishment, where the students feel they know that it's naturally coming to an end, where you as a teacher, as that stage manager, where you're taking everyone on that journey to the end of the lesson. You decide when the lesson ends, and you decide how the lesson ends. Finishing strong is such an important component because we get to think about the parts of our lesson. How do we start? What's the journey that we're taking our students on? Where are they headed in this lesson? And how are we going to finish? Let's not finish by giving them the homework and then signing off. Let's not finish by checking the roll and saying, okay, everyone, see you later. Let's not finish with a lack of thought. Let's not finish by saying, all right, everyone, you can go now. See you in the next lesson. No, let's just take a moment to consider, how are we going to finish strong? And do you want to have a way that you finish your lessons? Do you want to have a way of saying goodbye? Do you want to have a cue for your students so that they know, oh, we're wrapping up. This is what we do. I do webinars for many countries around the world, and on one series of webinars that I do, this is how we finish every single webinar. I'm talking thousands of people. We do a thing called Big Word, where I ask everyone who's been on this professional growth webinar, this professional development growth webinar, I ask them for their big word. Feel free to steal this idea, by the way. I ask them for their big word, and I say, we've just spent an hour together growing and learning. What's your one big word? What's the big word that you are going to take away from this lesson, from this time together? And everyone madly types in, this was my big word, and I read them out, and it's an interactive lesson. It's a webinar format. So I read out many of, not all of them, there's thousands of them, but I read out many of the answers. And what is this doing? This is telling those people who are investing that time to learn and to grow, like our students are, like we are to them. This is telling them this is the strong part of the lesson, And this is how Megan always finishes her lessons. Maybe there's a way for you to finish your lesson. Maybe there's like a secret code or something that you do just with your students that tells them this lesson is coming to an end. My teacher always finishes strong. We always finish on a positive note. We always finish on an up. We always finish in the same way so that your students know, oh, okay, this is the end of the lesson. Finishing strong. This is about helping your students to know where they're at in the learning journey, but also it's a way for you to consolidate their learning. Big word, what I use, is a way of consolidating learning. I'm actually asking everyone to filter down what they've done in that hour of learning to one word. And they have to work that out. So it's not just a fancy, fun thing to do. I'm actually doing it with learning goals in mind. How are you going to finish your lessons? How will your students know, oh, we're ending. I love the way we finish. Is everyone going to sign off in a certain way? Are you going to ask them all to type something into the chat box or to use a particular feature on the digital platform that you're using? How are you going to finish strong? Because here's what will happen. The danger is if you don't have a plan to finish strong, you'll just finish. There's nothing inspiring or motivating about that. When you have a plan to finish strong, you are that marathon runner, because sometimes teaching can be a marathon, right? Where you just got to keep going. You're that picture of that runner that's running through that ribbon that's across the finishing line. They're finishing with strength. They're finishing with a sense of victory. They're finishing with a sense of purpose. This is the way we want to finish our online lessons. Hack number 7, finish strong.